Hello YouTube and fellow Robocop fans, welcome back to my channel. Hello John, I'm your host John. Today we're going to be doing the second part of the full restoration of Hot Toys MMS204 ED209 figure. Bing! And we're going to be doing the changing of the gasket joints on there, all the arms and legs, both of them. I know you can't really see them at the moment because you're looking at this amazing pose. Oh my god, this figure is just breathtaking, absolutely breathtaking. I love it, absolutely love it. I'm gonna have this have a case made for him to give him in a similar pose to this. I mean, obviously I'll change it when I'm moving him about, but I love this from the Trouble in the Tower. It's the only time that Robocop and ED209 genuinely had a physical hands-on fight. Love it. It was superb. So changing of all the gasket covers. I'll be telling you where to get them from, so you don't pay too much, and exactly how to strip him down and put him back together again once you've got it. Cutting them up, etc., etc., making it all fit properly, because it does look better than new now. I know what it feels like when you walk into the room and look at what would have been once your prized possession, and it is just rotting. All the dome's gone, it's all cracking up. It makes your heart sink. I mean, it really does make your heart sink. You think, oh, you know, it was so beautiful once upon a time, and now it's just something I want to sell. So if you are thinking of selling it, hang on, watch the video. See if you can change them yourself. If you can change them yourself, keep it. Why get rid of it? It is just a beautiful piece, and you can bring it back to new. Of course, if you do this and you break it, Hello John takes no responsibility for that. I'm merely showing you what I've done to mine and hoping that a lot of people do it. Do it with your own backs, but do it if you can, and don't think that you can't do it. Don't think, oh, I'm not talented enough. Neither am I. It did not take a lot of talent to do this, trust me. I copied somebody else's idea for the dome and breaking it down. I'm an engineer, so breaking stuff down is what I can do. But I'm showing you how to do it. So you don't have to damage him. I mean, I did a little bit of damage to mine doing it, but it's because I didn't know how to take it apart. Now I know how to take it apart. I can show you, and you guys can take it apart without any damage, if you're careful. One of the parts we take off is a plate that's glued on. So if you can find some sort of a glue dissolving solvent that does not damage the plastic, that would be a good way to go. I've never looked into that, so I don't know. I don't know about that sort of stuff. But on this one, you're going to need some rubber gaskets from bikes. The arms are from a bicycle, front forks of a bicycle, and the back ones are from a Harley Davidson rear suspension. But they're cheap. I mean, it's 10 quid for those, 10 quid for these. So you're looking at 20 quid for the parts that you're going to need for today. I also bought some little magnets, extendable magnets. I'll be putting pictures up on everything for the back plate, so you'll see that when I do it. So all told, I think you're looking at about 25 quid for the rest of the parts. I think all told, all the parts I bought of this have cost me £40. So £40 to restore your figure to absolute beauty, to bring it back to better than it was when you originally got it out of the box. I think that's well worth it, and a bit of your time. Obviously it's going to take a bit of your time, but you'll be able to display them again. Anyway, stop waffling, John. Watch the video, and hopefully you'll be able to do it yourselves, and I'll see you on the other side. Bye for now. Okay, right, removing these back rubbers is difficult, and I made it a lot more difficult for myself, but I've done the hard work so you guys don't have to now. What you need to do is, this is the back of it, is peel the rubber bit back from here and remove this plate here. Now I was inside with a hacksaw, trying to hacksaw through what I thought was the metal bead going across there. You don't need to do any of that. So all you do is you will prise this off, and it takes some guts, by the way, because you're going to get creasing here because there's glue inside of there. You're going to get creasing, and what I've used is like chisels to slowly lift that panel off, and you just got to be brave. There's a lot of creaking, a lot of cracking, but it doesn't actually break, thankfully. And I used a knife with a flat blade, just pushing it inside there, slowly maneuvering that. There is when it pops up, you have two beads here. You also have one in the middle, which I actually get in with a saw. So I got in with this because it was proving to be really hard to lift that, because the glue is all around this part here. So I've sawed that part off. You don't need it. It's just an extra pin, like one of these, covers the holes. So you saw that one off, and just push your way through the glue with this. So you're slowly pushing down with the glue until it just pops off, and it will just pop off. So that bit there just pops off and stays as pressed in, which is great because we can just clip that back on once we're done, which is, I'm absolutely over the moon with that. But Hot Toys did such a good such a good design on hiding all the screws. There's 4 screws in there, so you'd unscrew all those, you undo that pops off, boom, so you've got that lot inside there. Excuse all the mess inside there, but I was going at it with a hacksaw, as you can see, and what I cut off was this piece of plastic here, because I thought there was a metal bolt going all the way through. It doesn't affect this at all. That won't affect my one at all. You won't have to do that. All you'll have to do is undo that screw there. And so you've undone that screw, and these just slide off like so. So you've got that one there. And then again with this side, you just slide that off there. Bosh. And that's the front part. And then all you do is undo those 4. That will pop apart. Remove that and replace it with the new one. I'll be telling you where to get the new ones from. They're not these were made by Hot Toys, so you won't be getting these. You'll get better ones. They may be a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller, but they'll be a very similar design, and fixing them will be completely different to how this one goes, because they're from motorcycles. They're motorcycle shock absorber covers. But I'll put listings of where I got it all from, etc, and so forth, links below. So that's it. You undo those 4 screws, that'll pop open, and then you can just pull that cover off, put the new cover back in. There are screws in here as well. As you can see, there's 3 screws going all the way around. You just undo those 3 screws, and that whole section will then pop off, allowing that to come straight out. But I'll do another video on that when I want to actually do that. Okay, so to get this rubber off, you would undo all 4 of these screws here, which I've already done, and you'd remove those. Luckily, all the screws are exactly the same size, so it doesn't matter if you mix them up. All the screws will fit back in the same places. So you take that apart like that, and then underneath here are more screws. You can see I've already started on that one. So you'd undo these screws. There's only 3 of them in here, and they're just restraints for the rubber. They're just holding the rubber in place, and I need to get it out so I can get the exact measurement, or as close to measurement for the replacement rubber. But I think once it's done, it'll look great, and you'll know how to get back in and replace the rubbers at any time if you need to. Hopefully you won't need to do that for a decade, because the rubbers we're replacing them with are from bikes and motorcycles, which are designed to be outside in all weathers. So I mean, these clearly were made specifically for Hot Toys. They've had these designed for themselves, and that should, with any luck, just lift off. Yes, it does. There you go. And then you would remove the inner lining. A little more, just a tad more difficult than it looks. Just like pushing a coin through there. There you go. I mean, the one we're using is not going to be like this anyway. It's going to be different. It's not going to be as secured in as this. It won't need to be. And it'll still look great, still do the job. But it's just a shame that that they had to make it with this particular rubber. It started to decay within a couple of years. For such an expensive item, there you go. You just pop that off of there. And that's the rubber. That's what they used. And what we'll be doing is pushing our other one in, fixing it on however we wish to fix it on, and then screwing it back together again. So I'll come back to you when I've got the measurements of these and and how to put them back on. Okay, replacing these rear leg rubber covers, rubber joints, gasket joints. We're going to be using the rear suspension dust covers for a Harley Davidson, which are absolutely perfect for it. These things are designed to be outside, and they're on the bike for a decade. Just a decade outside, all weathers. It's how long is it going to last inside on something that's on display in a cabinet? You know, 20 years maybe more. Who knows? But they really are durable, and they're perfect for the job. They're granted 3mm larger than these. So the outside of it is 3mm larger, but you can't really tell the difference on there. I mean, they're very, very similar, but it's just 3mm difference. So what you would do is remove this part here. Boom, 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 boom. We're not going to be using that part. We're going to just take that off, put it in a box, keep it somewhere. When you sell it, you can sell it with those parts. If somebody else wants to get original parts and put it back together, they can. But that part won't be used, because all you're doing is just literally putting it over the hole there, and it's because it's sprung loaded, it just stays in place beautifully. You don't need that. Don't need a restraint on it. And if you try to put the restraint on it, it lifts it up too high, so it's odd. Looks odd. You can use double-sided tape on there if you wish to keep it, you know, solidly in place. But I like the fact that you can actually pose the rubber when you've posed it. You can get it into the exact position when you've posed it, so it looks at its best. So what we're going to do is we're cutting off this part here completely. So that part of the dome, the end part there, is going to be cut off completely. You're cutting right the way around this part here. So that bit pops off, like so. And then you're going to cut off this rim here. So you cut all the way around there. So you're left with that part. That's the outer rim cut off. And then the inner rim, you're going to be cutting probably about 4mm all the way around there. So you're cutting that there. So you end up with this lip, because this lip is what sits inside of here when you put it back together again. So there's no visible join on the actual legs, which would have been this part here sitting inside. That's basically what that part there does. So again, cutting off there all the way around. So you've removed this part all the way around. Just makes it easier for you then to cut all the way in there. Lose that part, take this apart, take that off. The inside of the joint there has to be removed as well to get that off, but I'll do that for you in a second. Right, with that part there undone, so we're undoing the screws on that, taking that part off. Then you pop off the back part of that, and this is just the ball joint. Then you just pull that off like you would any other. It's quite stiff, a little bit of brute force, and that removes. Knock the table over. So it's just a rubber joint, ball joint, and then obviously you'd undo the screws on that part. And that will just lift off of there. So once you've cut your gasket to shape, to cut the ends off, cut it on, you literally just pop it on and put the tops back together. So I'll do that, and I'll show you that in a sec. Okay, this is removing this outer part here. So you're just getting a very sharp knife. You place it in there and just work your way all the way around the edge there. So you remove that outer part. You know, take your time, don't rush it. Do not cut where you shouldn't be cutting, because these cost £10 a pair, and it takes a week or so for them to arrive. So you've cut that part off. Excuse me. Then what you're doing is, with scissors, you're literally just lining that up and cutting it so you've got a few mil. So you cut into it, and you're cutting it until you've got a few mil around the outside there. Nice and slow. Do not rush this. All the way around so you get a nice even circle. So you meet up on the other side, and then you can straighten it up and tidy it up however you wish to. If you need to lose a bit more, you can. But it's always best to lose a bit more than not have enough. You know, I'd rather be cutting off little bits than have cut off too much, because you can't put it back on once you got rid of it. So don't overcut. Cut it to the size that you want it, and then trim. You can test fit and all that sort of stuff. If it fits comfortably in there, then you've done enough. There you go, done enough. You can spin it around if you want, make sure it fits comfortably all the way around, because you're just basically covering that hole. That's all you're doing. You're locking it in there to cover that hole. These are perfect for this. And then you're just removing the outer part, the top. It's only the top one, so you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these to remain. 5 of those need to remain. This one can go, and you're cutting right down there for it. So you're cutting down here, and nice and gentle all the way around. So you're going all the way around here,
Just try and keep it even. If the knife is nice and sharp, you're going to get a nice clean cut all the way around. And it cuts beautifully if you've got a nice sharp knife. So I'd recommend a new blade. There you go, you can tidy it up a little bit if you wish. But just make it nice and flat, nice and even. Because this part here just then locks onto there. And you can see where that goes on there. So that, once this is all pushed down, which is exactly what it is where you've got your joint. And that is, it's better than the original one. It actually looks more industrial. And you can move it around. Because you've got 3mm difference there. There's 3mm difference between the size of this and the original one. So it's only a tiny amount, it's literally only a tiny amount larger. I think it looks superb. And you know the rubber is a proper silicone rubber and it will last you for decades. So we don't have to replace it for decades. Okay, I'll get back to you when I've put the lower section back together. Okay, putting these back together, you've got the joint inside of it, pop that back on. So once you've slid this cover over, pop the joint back on and screw these two covers together. And you've got to screw these up nice and tight because that's how tight your legs are going to be in your ball joint. And that's what's holding the whole thing up. So these have to be screwed back together nice and tight. So put them in, screw them up. But do it one at a time, do it in sequence. Don't do them all together. So you tighten one up, the bottom one's not going to go in properly. So tighten it up a little bit and then slowly rotate as you're going. So tighten that one, then that one, then that one, then that one. And just do it in sequence until they're all nice and tight and clamped together. Because like I said, that is holding the whole weight. And that's it, that's another joint all done back together. So what we're doing is we're connecting these now to the lower section. If you watch back on my video, you'll see which way you took them off, which sequence you took them off on. And you've got to get that sequence correct because the stickers tally with the sequence that you've done. So what you're doing is you're pushing it in there over these pegs. It goes in over the pegs. And make sure that the rubber is on the outside. So you've only got that little tiny rim inside of there. So I would recommend you push it like so and then get it over these. There you go. So only that side is in. And then obviously you're taking the second leg, you're putting that over the top of that one in exactly the same manner. And then all you're doing is fixing this cover back onto there so that it's rimmed inside there, and then doing the screws up. All five, you'll be 5 screws on yours because you haven't hacksawed your middle one off. So you'll do 5 screws around there, clip that back on. And what I'm going to do with this is I've bought some little tiny extended magnets that should connect to the screws that are in there. So once I've fixed that on there, when they come and they're glued onto these ports, they should just clip into there and click, automatically hold there. So if ever I need to take it apart again, I don't have to use glue to hold that back piece on. That should be fine. You can glue it back on if you wish to, up to you. And also when you're taking it apart, if you can get some sort of glue dissolver, rather than keep pushing and pushing and bending, that doesn't damage the plastic but just dissolves the glue, that would be brilliant. I don't know about that sort of product, I've never looked into it. But if you want to look into it, go ahead. So I'll come back to you when the back legs are actually together and finished. Can resist doing this one. From the "You are illegally parked on private property." The Robocop blows him up. I love it. That looks so cool. This thing is huge. That's the rubber's done on it. And they actually look better than the other ones. You can actually position them however you like. Look, give him the little fan. This thing is absolutely huge. I love it. That's obviously the battle damaged Robocop from when he's just blown him up. Walking into the OCP building. I think that is awesome. This thing is just amazing. Alright, I'll come back together when I've got the dome and everything all put back on it. And that'll be the finish of this. For the back plate, part that covers the screws here, I've used these little extended magnets. So it literally just clicks into place. You just put it in, pop it in there. They are and these little things that are, they're hollowed out, and they make a bracelet. So you'd have a lever going in that side, a leather piece going in that side, and that's where it joins. I'm using just an old piece of a model kit to go inside there. But what I'm doing is I'm also putting milliput inside. So I'm putting milliput inside of here, and then squeezing that in there and letting it dry, and that just fits directly into these parts here, as you can see on that one. Just mark them out where you got them, and the two smaller ones, they just fit straight in. So they've got the same brown piece of plastic in there, and they just clip straight in, and then you just glue them into place. And then once you put them in, it literally just pops into place there. It's not going to fall out. It's perfectly in all the way, just straight in there, which is exactly what I wanted, because then I can remove it anytime I need to. No glue involved, and it's perfect, absolutely perfect. Right, for the rubbers for the arms, under the arms, we're using these, which are again just front suspension forks for a bicycle. The company I've got them from apparently are one of the only companies that actually sell them. They're very hard to actually buy on their own, but again, these are perfect for the job, absolutely perfect. And all we're doing is cutting this section off. This is the section that goes into the actual arm itself. So this section, once cut off, will go into here on that part, and the larger part goes straight into the underside of it, as you can see on here. So yeah, cut there, count 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, same as we did before. Cut that off, you'll have 4 spare ones. So both ends out, plug it in, all done. I'll come back to you when I've just cut this up. Okay, sorry about the fading light, guys, but I don't really get a lot of time to do this, so I'm cramming it in as I can. I'd like to get it finished and up. Right, so when you're fixing these in, if you want to strengthen the joint, I'm just using a little bit of the material from the speaker cover for the dome, and all you do is you put that over there. So that goes over there, and then that clicks into the joint, holds it nice and tight. I mean, a real nice tight joint you get from that, because over the years they just droop. They go loose on their own. So we're getting the smaller part on that, pushing that over there, line that into there. Bosh, 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 bosh. And then all we're going to do is literally click it into the dome. So we're clicking it in here. Give it a push. There you go, that is in. And that is a really stiff joint. That's a massively stiff joint. And you've got full movement, they look great. You can rotate them so that you don't have the bits in them. But they literally just sit in. That's all they're doing, is sitting in there. I think they look just as good. If not better, they look actually better. You've got more of them. They can move them around. I mean, you can put some double-sided tape on the inside of that part if you wish to. Stick it in there so it doesn't move at all. But once you put it in a pose, it doesn't make any difference. It makes no difference at all. God, this thing is awesome. I absolutely adore it. I really do. I think it's one of Hot Toys' best engineers figures ever. They've done such a good job with this. But this was done in 2014 when Hot Toys were really, knocking them out of the park. It's their silver age. It's when they were doing definitely their best stuff. Absolutely love it. It looks superb. And with the new rubbers and the dome, it's a brand new figure. And the guy I bought it from, just amazing guy. Gave me just the same unboxing experience as he had. Right, I'll put this back together again. So you get the whole thing, and that'll be that finished. You'll have the whole thing in one go. I'll do a couple of poses. But that's how you do it. Absolutely simple, and it looks absolutely amazing. Okay, with them all done and back together again, you can see it's a massive improvement. You've got all the rubbers here. I know some of you are going to say not movie accurate, but if you've got them at home and these are all deteriorating and falling apart, also not movie accurate. So this is, it's as good as you're going to get.
And on display, it just looks amazing. No one's going to go, oh, there's too many here. It's not movie accurate. They're just going to go, wow, it's stunning, because it is a stunning piece. It's a massive piece, beautiful, massive piece, and he is fully posable. I mean, a lot of people are saying he's like a statue. You can't pose him. You can pose him. You've got full movement on this guy. The dome moves around. You can tilt it left and right, depending on how you have the legs. You can pose him however you want. He is an absolutely stunning piece. So I will have him in the battle with Robocop, obviously, because that's the way he should be. And he's just such a beautiful piece once you've posed him. And he can be a bit of a pig to pose sometimes. I was going to do loads of different poses for you, the going down the stairs, all that sort of stuff, falling down the stairs even. But I'm not going to bother now, because I just want him on the shelf. I just want him stays. I'll put him on the shelf after I put him back together, just to see what it will look like. You know, and it's just breathtaking. He's absolutely stunning. I am very impressed with this piece. Hot Toys did a great job. So all your rubbers are there, and you've got your back plate there. If you've done it the same way I've done it, you can literally just pop it off. Say literally just pop it off. It's actually on there quite well. There you go. So you can just pop that off again if you need to get to the screws. Change these at any time, because it's all magnetic, which is absolutely superb. I love it. Let's just move you down there and pop that back in. And that's him all beautifully back together. Another lease of life. So I'd like to thank Ryan, obviously, for editing all of this and putting it up for me. Appreciate that, mate. You're going to have to teach me how to do it, though, son, because you're studying now. No time for this. I think that about wraps it up for this one. I have no idea what my next video is going to be, but feel free to like, comment and subscribe. That'd be great. Could use some more subscribers. Always use some more. And some comments too. Tell me what you think, guys. What do you want to see next? I do have the other Robocop in the chair with the rubbers gone on the legs and arms on that. I can show you how to deal with those if you wish. But if not, stay safe, have fun, you crazy kids, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.